Today I will show you a comedy, drama film from 2015, titled The Intern. Ben Whitaker is attending a yoga class. He talks about his life. He is a retired widower. To keep busy, he traveled to places, but it didn't help much. The way to get through this is to always keep moving. He says he's tried everything, namely golf, books, watching movie recaps, yoga, cooking, buying plants, and even taking a class in Mandarin. He talks about there being so many deaths in recent times. The only traveling he's been doing lately is visiting his son and his family in San Diego. He realizes there's a hole in his life that needs to be filled. Ben spots a flyer at the market regarding a senior internship program. A woman meets him. They read the requirements of the program together. The company needs people aged 65 plus who are interested in e-commerce. They sell clothes online. The company prefers a video instead of a written cover letter. Ben gets ready and films himself on camera. He'll get used to the tech-related stuff in due time, and mentions his good qualities. A posh office place comes into view, with computers everywhere in a busy environment of high fashion. A female employee is dealing with a troubled customer on the phone, who ordered 6 bridesmaids' dresses in pink but received them in charcoal gray. The employee is surprised considering that they don't even sell that color. She says she'll look into it personally and get it delivered timely. It turns out that she's the CEO of the company, Jules Austin. She enjoys learning from customer service, and bikes around the workplace, as Becky, her assistant, keeps her on schedule. Jules notices a messy office table and rolls her eyes. Ben arrives and sees old people seated already. He is interviewed by different people, who ask him about his education and work. He mentions working at a phone book company for nearly 40 years. He is asked where he sees himself in 10 years. Ben's 70, so he'll be 80, hence that question is scratched. Since he's perfect for the job, he's congratulated for successfully becoming an intern. Cameron mentions to Jules a previously discussed plan of hiring older people. She had seemingly liked it, so he set it in motion. Currently, she doesn't seem thrilled about the idea. He subtly mentions Ben and that he will be her intern. Ben sets his alarms and gets ready to go back to work again. Jason welcomes the intern, saying that they'll all work on the same floor. Nobody has their own office, not even Jules, the CEO, who loves to bike in the office. She doesn't like wasting time, counting it as exercise. Ben befriends Davis. Jason says that Jules started 18 months back. It worked out great and she went online in 4 months. A woman rings a bell, announcing that they hit a record of 2,500 likes on Instagram. The young employees pull out modern office supplies like earphones, USBs, and smartphones. Ben pulls out his briefcase, putting things like pens, a calculator, clock, and his flip phone on the desk. His coworker, Louis, glances and helps him turn on his laptop. Ben receives an email from Cameron saying he'll work for Jules directly. Becky emails him informing that he has an appointment with Jules at 3:55 p.m., asking him to be on time as her next appointment is at 4 p.m. Ben waits patiently. When it's time, he goes to Becky, who is surprised to learn about him being the new intern. He asks for advice with Jules. She tells him to talk fast, keep it moving, and to blink. Ben meets Jules. She says he doesn't have to do much work and could have him transferred to something slower. He's satisfied working for Jules. She says she'll notify when she has work for him. He offers to stop by a few times a day to check in, but she says she'll prefer to just email. She tells him to dress casually, but he feels comfortable in a suit. It makes him stand out. Jules laughs and says he doesn't need a suit to stand out. At home, Ben practices blinking. At work, Ben doesn't get any emails. Davis is leaving and asks Ben if he's staying, to which he says he can't leave before the boss leaves. Still no new emails. In the morning, Ben decides to take matters in his own hands. He kindly helps around the office. Jason asks Ben for advice with Becky, saying he accidentally slept with her roommate. He tells him to apologize to her in person, not over a tweet or email. Jules applies hand sanitizer and sees the office's junkyard again, worrying about it. Becky emails Ben saying Jules spilt soy sauce on her jacket. He needs to take it to the cleaners. She's wearing it right now. Cameron and Jules discuss hiring a potential CEO. She's not happy with it and questions her experience, education, and methods. She says the company hit their 5-year goal in 9 months. Cameron says they can't keep up with their success, and mentions Jules being late to meetings. He brings up problems in the office. Ben comes in and hears Jules saying she can't handle being bossed around by someone else, crying. He takes her jacket and leaves. Becky asks what he heard inside, but he doesn't give away anything. The next day, the messy table is absolutely clean. Jules is contented and finds out that Ben came in at 7 a.m. and cleaned it up. The bell is rung, this time for Ben, as the whole office cheers for him. Fiona, the office masseuse, gives him a massage for his good work. He enjoys it as Jason and Davis laugh at the situation. She gives him her card. Later he notices Jules' driver drinking. He makes him tell her he can't drive her today. Ben offers to drive Jules instead. She apologizes for not sitting in the front, saying she thinks better in the back and whatever he hears in the car is confidential. Her mother calls and tells a derogatory research fact, taunting her for not sleeping. Ben listens quietly. Cameron video calls her further talking about hiring another CEO. She argues saying Mark Zuckerberg didn't get another CEO despite being a teenager. Ben waits for Jules as she attends her meeting in the city. She returns promptly. In the meantime, Ben got her lunch. The meeting was short because she didn't like the candidate at all. Ben drops her at home. She thanks him for everything. He boosts her confidence, reminding her of how much she has achieved and asks her to rest. He notices Jules has a daughter. Her husband, Matt, asks about the meeting. She says it didn't work out. At home, Ben enthusiastically pulls out food from the fridge as he listens to his voicemails. He calls Fiona. Matt and Jules seem to be facing a difficult time trying to resonate with each other. He complains about having no time for himself. Jules tries to initiate a move but to no avail. Since her driver is missing, Ben is asked to pick up Jules. He meets Matt, who invites him inside. They try making plans. She is distracted at first but later agrees. Ben drives Jules and Paige and compliments Matt's parenting skills. She tells him he left his job in marketing when her company took off and became a full-time dad. Jules drops off Paige at school and meets the other moms. They tell her to bring guacamole for an upcoming lunch. Since she's such a busy person, they sarcastically suggest that she buy guacamole instead of making it. She assures them she'll make it. Paige is concerned but Jules is confident about handling it. In the car, Jules complains about people being critical of working mothers in spite of the modern times. She texts Cameron to switch Ben's team as he is too observant. Ben takes a quicker route to the warehouse. Despite her wish to take the other route, she realizes he was right. He observes her carefully, instructing the employees. Ben tells Fiona he'll have to cancel dinner. He's working late tonight. She gives him a foot massage. Davis awkwardly walks in on them. Jules is working late and notices Ben. They eat together and converse. She asks him about his previous work. Ben tells her that he worked at a phone book factory for around 40 years. She realizes this is the same building and asks if it's weird to be back. He says it may be remodeled but still feels like home. He calls her an inspiration and they talk about different things. She is sad to learn about his wife's death. He drives her home. She snores in the backseat. She eventually wakes up and tells him she has never slept in a car. She reconciles with her husband. The next morning, Doris shows up to drive Jules to work. Ben gets transferred. She drives crazily, upsetting Jules. Ben is carrying coffees. Jules arrives and tries to make him come back, constantly apologizing. She wants him working with Becky. She instructs Becky to let Ben help and look at things. Becky cries, saying she has been working for several months yet Jules never asked her to give her input, despite her excellent education. Ben offers his handkerchief and Jason consoles her. She says she works really hard. Ben tells her to go see friends and live a little. Ben studies the purchasing patterns, explaining to Jules where the company is falling short. He says Becky has been very helpful, suggesting she deserves appreciation, to which Jules agrees, saying she'll talk to her. Davis finds a place in Philadelphia, though it's quite far, so Ben lets him stay at his place instead. He shows him around and agrees to even wake him up in the morning. Davis feels beholden to him. At Jules' place, Ben hears about her meeting with a CEO in San Francisco. Seeing how she and Matt have conflicting plans, it is decided Ben will go with her. Jules is handling a ton of problems. On top of that, her mother isn't cooperative. She accidentally sends an angry email to her mother. She asks her employees if they can get it deleted somehow. Ben suggests breaking in and stealing her computer. Ben, Jason, Davis, and Louis go to Jules' mother's place. The security alarm is only beeping at first, until it starts blaring full on. They manage to locate the computer, delete the email and clumsily escape from the premises. They celebrate with Jules and drink. She starts to get tipsy and compliments Ben's mannerism and style, resenting the trends men follow these days. Ben holds her hair as she throws up. She leans on Ben. He comforts her. They connect in a heartwarming way. Ben's lunch date with Fiona takes an unexpected turn as they attend a funeral instead. Afterwards, they talk about their lives and connect nicely. Ben goes with Paige to her friend's birthday party, where he speaks highly of Jules to the other moms. Paige doesn't feel too well, so Ben drives her home. He notices Matt cheating and a short while later carries Paige inside. At the office, Jules, Jason, and Becky worry about Ben, because he's acting differently. The duo go to San Francisco and have fun on the plane, laughing together. At the hotel, a fire alarm goes off. Later, she invites him to come in her room. They have tea together and talk about marriage. He mentions being married for 42 years. She says she knows Matt is cheating and still wants them to stay together. She wants another CEO so she can get her life back on track, crying that she doesn't want to live a single life and be buried alone. He says she can be buried with him and his wife. A song plays on TV, and Ben cries to himself. Jules finds a good CEO. She comes back home and tells Matt about it. They confront their problems. She goes to visit Ben. He tells her no one will be as committed to her company as she is. She shouldn't give up her job hoping that her husband will stop cheating. She calls Ben her best friend. They go to work together and Jules is informed that the issue regarding the bridesmaids' dresses was handled. Matt comes and laments his choices, telling her she shouldn't give it up for him. He'll work on being better. They make up. It is decided she'll remain in charge as CEO. She looks for Ben, but he isn't there. She finds her way to him as he attends his yoga class. They perform yoga together. Jules still has a lot to learn.